Welcome everybody to BC Place Stadium, where Canada will play Mexico on February 4th, 2017. Bienvenidos todos ustedes a Net Deportes, netradioonline.com, Deportes Hoy Canadá, al partido entre Canadá y México este día 4 de febrero en el estadio BC Place. El estadio BC Place de la ciudad de Vancouver será sede del partido entre las selecciones de Canadá y México, que jugarán este día 4 de febrero. Vemos cómo se organizan para las entrevistas con las jugadoras, cómo se dan la mano. Y efectivamente estamos muy contentos de estar aquí con las jugadoras de la selección de Canadá.
More than a celebration match, I think it'll be pretty competitive.
It'll be competitive, yeah. Mexico are a new team, a new coach, and I think that team's fighting for positions at the minute, so they'll come out firing. For this group, it's the start of a new quadrennial, you know, a push towards France and Tokyo, and there's players here who are fighting for spots, but you know, the mindset's just no backward step. Like, we're fourth in the world, we've come off another Olympic bronze, and the players want to keep pushing forward and keep showing that that's where they should be in the world. And whether this is a retirement game and a celebration, it's just about winning football matches.
You do have three players playing their final match, though, so as a coach, do you get sentimental in terms of personnel and how much they play?
Well, I made a commitment to the whole Olympic group that those that delivered the bronze medal, that group, would play in this match. So the young players who were in the assessment camp knew that this wasn't their game. They'll play the second game against Mexico. So, you know, Mel and Rian and Buddy, they've been working hard behind the scenes, keeping themselves fit. They haven't had much match practice. And because of a few injuries and unavailabilities, some of them are playing. Some of them are actually going to be starting. So it'll be interesting, but at the end of the day, they've been playing for Canada long enough to know that if this is their last stint, they'll be giving it everything and giving us a chance to win.
You look back at Melissa's career, I mean, a lot of people point to the speech she gave before the first Germany game in Brazil. What was the message she was trying to get across that day, and what did that mean to the group?
Well, it started with, we handed her the captain's armband, and I said, look, Mel, you know, you're going to take the captain's armband, and in the next 3 days I want you to talk to this team and just let them know what this means to you. And she hummed and hawed a bit, and I don't think she wanted that pressure because she just wanted to play the game, but we didn't know when she was going to speak, and she just opened up, and my goodness, it had an impact. I mean, what she did is just got those girls playing for her in that match, and then she goes and scores two goals. You couldn't have written the script. It was profound.
Have you let yourself think about this team without these three in the fold yet? I mean, I guess as a coach you probably have to, but is it hard to envision them not being part of the setup?
Well, it is. I mean, they came back in here, and you see what we're going to miss. You know, I've already predicted what my lineups are going to be in 4 years' time, and there's probably other players might not be here as well, but for those, we're going to lose some special ingredients. There's a Canadian grit that these women instill in this team, like this fight right till the end, because they've been fighting for everything all through their careers, and you can't replace that. But they've been passing the torch well. I thought at the Olympics they set a real example to these young players, and that was part of their jobs. And I know they'll be saying a few things, you know, leaving that shirt behind and making sure these kids carry it on the right way. So I don't think you'll replace what they've got. It's a new generation of player who've got completely different experiences. So we've got to adapt or we die as a team.
Right,
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Las declaraciones de John Herman, prácticamente ha dicho que esta es una nueva generación de jugadoras que esperan aprender de las que se van retirando, de las jugadoras Tancredi, Wilkinson, y bueno, que ha sido un juego que van a compensar a las jugadoras que estuvieron que fueron parte del equipo olímpico que participó en la última Olimpiada de Río 2016. Este fue Cristian Basantes reportando para Net Deportes.
So we were so.
Okay, but I cried today as well, so obviously it's going to be just as emotional, I think, and then having my family there as well, and playing here. This is now my home, and being at my last game, it's going to be hard to say goodbye.
But it's a perfect scenario in terms of one final farewell match, so celebrating the bronze medal, and as you mentioned here at BC Boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better way out. I think, to see these girls crush Mexico and, just be out there again for the last time, and I don't even care how many minutes. It's just going out there and just enjoying it and saying goodbye, really.
I asked John about the speech that you gave before the Germany game in Brazil, and he said you sort of hummed and hawed about, when you were going to talk. What was that message, and where did it sort of come from that day? And obviously a great performance.
Well, I think that message came from, we want respect and we demand respect from other teams, but we've never really put out a performance that said that. And it was about consistency, and it's about beating the best. And Germany, we haven't beat them before, and why not make history in Olympic Games? So it was just a little motivation. This is bigger than just a group game. This is, we want to come out on top. We want to come out first in our group. We've never done that before. We've never come out undefeated. 3 games that are 3 big wins for us, and it was just a massive message we wanted to send out to everyone, and for me, it was pretty cool to lead that. I think everyone was pretty hungry.
You scored twice that day. Apart from the medals, was that personally like your proudest moment to lead that team?
Yeah, it was one of them. I think anytime you wear that captain's band, I think it just does something to you and touches your heart. And to be able to lead a team of youngins and some vets, and to beat a team like Germany is for sure memorable.
You're gonna miss the most?
Oh, my girls, I think, although all of them live near me, but it's going to be hard missing the camp feeling, and, your best friends are around you, and you have 16 other girls, 17 other girls to talk to at all times. And the competitiveness, I think that level of, you get when you hear your national anthem, the adrenaline rush. I don't think I'll ever get that again in my life, obviously, but that's going to be the hardest part for me, searching for that, really.
What about this building? I mean, there's been some highs and some lows in this building.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice to end off on a happy note, especially after, we all know what happened in 2015, but it's nice way to end it off in this building particularly, right?
Well, that's our, we need to end it off that way. I think that's what we have to do. That's our homework. We're going out with a win no matter what, and we've experienced, some great Olympic qualifiers here. We've experienced a World Cup disaster here, and it's our way of just saying thanks to the fans and thanks for your support, and really celebrating a great year for us.
Expect to see the ball a lot?
Me?
Yeah.
Woo! Hopefully, maybe a goal and then run off into the showers. You never know.
I know you've touched on, but what's next for you?
I'm a chiropractor as well, so I've started practicing Gastown and Port Moody, and really into that and loving my life right now. So that's my next step, and hopefully be with this team at the end of this year, and then move on, maybe some other sports in there, but for sure at the professional level.
Not a lot of athletes get to, go out on their own terms. Is this something that you never really, very few do? Could you have imagined it sort of, result aside on Saturday? This must be the way, you couldn't have even envisioned it.
Yeah, it's going out on my terms, and it's going out on a high in my eyes. It's, to have a bronze medal and a performance that I'm very proud of, to step off the field and be like, you did good. And, you have your highs and lows as a professional athlete, and I definitely had my lows, but to be able to pick myself up and make a kind of a comeback and be able to lead this team and go out that way, it's just, I'm very proud of myself and just happy with that.
Where do you see this team transitioning now towards, especially with the young group coming in, the type of player that is now in this team?
Yeah, it's
where you even started.
It's going to be very exciting. You have girls who can play 3-4 positions. You have athleticism. You have the skill. That kind of mesh of a player we've never really had before. We've had 1 or 2, but now I think we have a full team of them, and that's what makes it so dangerous. I'm so excited to see this team grow, and just listening to their intro meeting and where this team has to make strides in the next 2-3 years is going to be incredible. So
is that where women's football is heading towards, more total football type of play?
Yeah, I guess you could say total football for sure. I think, at the same time, our team has mastered the tactical part of it, so I think other teams have to catch up that way as well. So you have the tacticians, but now you have the beasts out there as well that are able to do everything. So I think it's going to be a great time for Canada soccer. Thank you.
Bueno, ya vimos a Melissa Tancredi, vimos a otras compañeras, y nuestro compañero Cristian Basantes está aquí presente en el césped del estadio, como pueden ver. Cristian, ¿qué te parece este ambiente con las jugadoras de la selección de Canadá?
Es un ambiente muy bonito, se siente ambiente de mundial. Parece que no fuera un partido amistoso, sino un partido importantísimo, como que se fuera a disputar un trofeo este día sábado. Va a ser un lindo espectáculo, les invitamos cordialmente a que asistan masivamente a este estadio. Miren, es un estadio muy bonito, muy cómodo, muy bello, y apoyen al deporte en especial al fútbol femenino, y también pues estén pendientes de nuestra sintonía con Net Radio, con Net Deportes. Estaremos aquí presentes, aquí desde donde desde donde los hechos se realizan.
Efectivamente, estaremos con Net Deportes, netradioonline.com y Deportes Hoy Canadá en este bello estadio, esta joya arquitectónica en British Columbia, BC Place Stadium, the home of the Vancouver Whitecaps in Major League Soccer. This was the interview that we had with the players of the Canadian national team that will play Mexico on February 4th. And as we see here, Christine Sinclair, the hero, is right here. So let's see what she has to say.
Have you been in town for a while?
No.
No? Yeah, just the significance of this. I know it's a celebration match, but also in a retirement match, and it'll be a competitive match as well. How do you kind of sum up?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. Obviously celebrating our journey in Rio, and it's our first home game since the Olympics. It's our being back in BC Place. It's our first game here since the World Cup, and it's going to be exciting to celebrate with the fans. But at the same time, 3 legends from our team are retiring, and it's going to be an emotional day for all of us.
Have you allowed yourself to sort of think what this team might look like without those 3? They've been part of it for so long.
I mean, obviously, with John, players come in and out a lot. We've got a lot of younger players here trying out, sort of, and it's an exciting time. We're a few years away from our next major tournament, so this is the time to give these kids a run out. But at the same time, like you said, there's no step backwards here. Our goal is number 1 in the world within a few years, and these are games we have to win.
Melissa got the captain's armband for the first Germany game in Rio, and everyone talks about that speech that she gave. What did that mean to the team for a game that some people back home said, maybe you guys don't need to win that game, but easier track to the the quarterfinals or whatever. What did that sort of speech sort of show about her and her desire and what helped spur the team on?
Yeah, well, I think in Rio we were there to make a statement to the world, and John sort of presented it to us in that before the game against Germany, like what do we want to do? Do we want to quote unquote lose the game and have the easier journey to the gold medal, or do we want to make a statement? And we're not a team that sits back, and we wanted to go after it. Obviously resting some players at the same time, but Tank took the team on her shoulders and just put on a performance like Melissa does, and scored some great goals and made history.
With this team, they're leaving it off. There's so many young players coming in. Like, where do they leave this team off? Like, are you obviously boiled for the future with especially with the youngsters coming in?
Yeah, I mean, we walk off at practice, and we've got 15 and 16-year-olds, and you just know the future of this team is so bright. And John wouldn't have his eye on number 1 in the world if he didn't think we could do it. These youngsters coming through, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the future of this country. And a lot of it goes to players like Rian, Tank, Mariev that are leaving a legacy. A lot of these youngsters started playing soccer because of players like those 3. So it's just going to be an emotional night, that's for sure.
Yeah, are you going to be extra mindful to try to set up Melissa a bit more than you usually do?
Absolutely. I told her my goal is to get her a goal. So maybe even get Buddy one too. So they're such selfless players. They just want this team to win and put on a show for the fans. But, as their friend and teammate, I'd love to see especially Tank get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, emotional for them. As emotional for you and the rest of the team, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, they're our best friends. And I've literally grown up playing alongside these people. I mean, Tank and I had our first youth national team camp when we were 15 years old, and we've played together ever since. And it's going to be sad to see them go, but man, they've left a mark on this country.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Back to the shop. Thank you.
Are you coming tomorrow, Friday?
Esa fue Christine Sinclair, la capitana de la selección canadiense. Ha manifestado que va a ser una noche emocionante este sábado, más aún porque se retiran 3 compañeras que han sido prácticamente sus grandes amigas en todo este trayecto en el equipo de Canadá, y por tanto va a ser muy emocionante y espera, eso sí, pues por supuesto marcar un gol. ¿México le dejará? Solo ellas tienen la respuesta. Esto es Net Deportes, reportó para ustedes Cristian Basantes.